What is up, GOAT World? It is me, your boy JDZ, and I'm back at you again with another GOAT format video. I have returned with the Match of the Week series. During this series, I like to showcase a high-profile duel, and boy, do I have a special treat for you guys this time. Two prolific powerhouses from the past and present pair up in the most recent Clash of Champions, and it was a spectacular showcase. So I'm going to bring that to you guys. If you wish to be featured on the Match of the Week, you have an opportunity if you sign up to play in the PWC queue that is taking place. If the online game really isn't your thing, we have a couple of GOAT Grand Prix that are taking place right here. So if you have an event that's coming near you, sign-ups for all these events are open. So get out there and play. We're about to hop into the replay, but again, a couple of days ago, I did my pack opening for the 25th Rarity Collection 2. And I offered a sweepstakes for that. And right now, I'm going to raffle off who is going to be the winner of that sweepstakes. So make sure you guys go ahead and like and subscribe as we pull up the sweepstakes. Sweepstakes. Okay, so all I did was just take all the names, throw them into ChatGPT, got rid of all of the duplicates, and here is what I was left with. So I'm just going to spin this thing one time, and you have 24 hours from the release of this video to reach out to me in Discord, or you will not win. You have to be a real one in order to enter into the sweepstakes, and no fake ones. Here we go. We're going to spin this thing one time, and are we ready? Spinning. And the winner is KRS Thomas is going to be the winner. We have a winner. So KRS Thomas, you have 24 hours from the release of this video to get out to me in Discord, send me your contact information, and I'll go ahead and send you this. Thank you everyone who signed up and left a comment proving that you are a real one. I couldn't do any of this without any of you guys. And continue to watch the videos and subscribe, and we'll continue to do sweepstakes in the future. But enough of that. Okay, so here we are at the replay. If you ask anyone who's a part of this community, especially in the online space or in the most current iteration of GOAT formats we play, and you say, who's the best player? These two names will undoubtedly come up. You have Aalvarado in the red corner, you have LaBounty in the blue corner. Both of their resumes are very similar. Both of these duels have been playing this game for an incredibly long amount of time. Both of them are Shonen Jump champions. Aalvarado is actually a Shonen Jump champion from GOAT format. That's the same Aalvarado. This is the same LaBounty, Shonen Jump champion during the Perfect Circle format. He was also a prolific GOAT format player. Both of these guys are GFC champions. Both of these guys are FLC champions. Aalvarado is a two-time GFC champion, but LaBounty is already a Clash of Champions winner. So this is probably, you know, some of the highest level of GOAT format that you will find in this game. So as we're going through these replays, I understand that there is going to be luck that is a part of this game, but try to pay attention to the strategies, especially if you're a newer duelist. Go ahead and pull up a seat, try to pay attention, and just really try to understand what some of the moves that these duels are making, and maybe you can incorporate that stuff into your game and you can become a better player. Each time I watch these duelists play, I learn something and I become a better duelist for it. So maybe you can do the same as well. So with that, we're going to go ahead and hop on into this replay. If you see a play that you don't really understand or you have questions about it, get into the comment section and let us know that as well. And maybe you can reach out to these duelists and they can kind of go through those plays in the Discord, or maybe if you're courteous or if you're kind of polite with it, you don't have to be all rude about it. You guys can have that conversation, man. You can figure out both of these duelists are very open books about these types of things. They just want the game to be better. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get it cracking as Aalvarado is going to get the hard read on LaBounty and throw paper and get to go first. Good luck in the patent pending. Likewise, coming in from the red corner player as Aalvarado starts this thing off, hands looking pretty good. Anytime you can start does shoot against and your foe is always going to be great, especially when they're playing the warrior strategy, going first, getting some value from your trap does shoot. It's always going to be nice. Just for a little bit of atmospherics, this is for the Clash of Champions. This is the semifinals from the losers bracket. So both of these duels have an idea of what each person is playing. Again, they have a long story history of playing against each other, and each time they play, it's always fireworks, man. So they kind of know each other's tendencies. So there's a lot of plays that maybe they probably wouldn't make against the standard player, but since they know a lot about their opponent, they're going to have to make some different things to try to gain some edge. As I stated before, luck is a tremendous factor in this game, but you have to figure out ways to try to chisel away whatever advantage you can, especially when you're playing against a very, very prolific duelist, as they both have a deep amount of respect for each other. So we're going to go ahead and get the Thunder Dragons out first. Pretty standard Thunder Dragon, add to, jam the upstart. And now what set are you going to go with first? As I believe we're going to go ahead and set 2, and we're going to set none. Very interesting coming in from Aalvarado. He's trying to maybe get that shoot to go off just to get an idea of the opponent's hand before he commits any of these sets to the board, because you can get some value out of both of these, not just one. It might benefit you a lot. So we're just going to go ahead and set the one trap dust shoot and set the torrential tribute, just to not blow up your own monsters, and also maybe you can feign a little bit of weakness from your opposition. As we're going to go ahead and reveal the trap dust shoot, send back the Kaiku to Ghost Destroyer, and LaBounty has to know that that has to be a trap or something that can get rid of this Breaker the Magic Warrior almost immediately before. That smells really funny. Before he even revealed the damn Breaker the Magic Warrior, he automatically just threw it in the graveyard, because I already knew. Again, these guys have played this game enough, a lot of times. They kind of know the ins and out, how the game's going to go. So as soon as he sent back the Kaiku, he just went ahead and just threw the Breaker right on the graveyard, because he knew that guy was not long for this earth. As they're going to go ahead and torrential tribute that thing right away. We'll go ahead and set our Ring of Destruction, set the trap dust shoot, kick back on over to Aalvarado, who now has a good working knowledge of the hand of LaBounty, understands that these set monsters can probably have a good percentage of going off, but you know you're going to have to battle up against the trap dust shoot of your opponent. And we're going to go ahead and send back that Dekoichi. I believe he just favored getting that Dekoichi out of there. Stop that drawing, you know, getting a new fresh card. Maybe you could rather deal with both of the spies instead of a fresh unknown card, and just maintain some of the information from your trap dust shoot. I don't hate the send back. We're going to go ahead and set up that GK spy, pass back on over to LaBounty. LaBounty gets into the patent pending Blade Knight, and let's see how we're going to break this thing down. Electing just not to attack it, obviously, because he knows what it is. Maybe he's regretting, you know, sending that Dekoichi back, because you could have plussed up on it. But at the same time, he probably would not have done that either, because you're just going to saturate your opponent's graveyard with a known Chaos Sorcerer looming. So it's better just let that thing sit there eternally. Or maybe, you know what I'm saying, you can hope for a Nobleman Crossout to come on off the top of the deck later. So let's see what Aalvarado likes to do with that information. We're going to go ahead and flip the GK Spy and just get absolutely active with them. Both of them coming downhill, barreling in with 2,400. This is what they do best. I believe you still have some information, so you probably have an idea what these cards are and maybe what he drew in his hand, but you don't know what this set is, perhaps. You know, so you still have to respect Torrential Tribute a little bit, as you're just going to go ahead and set another monster onto the field. Aalvarado could have, if he wanted, he probably could have set up his graveyard right away, just to kind of protect himself a little bit and secure that dark monster. But he's electing to sense that maybe he's sensing that LaBounty is showing a little bit of weakness and is trying to get that Magician of Faith so he can get another plus value from that Upstart Goblin. Could be what the red corner player is thinking. As we're going to go ahead and jam the Blade Knight. Blade Knight's going to slice and dice the Magician of Faith. Great hit for the Blade Knight, as you're going to negate the Magician of Faith. But now we're going to go ahead and get that Tribute Summon Thunder Dragon, and then we'll go ahead and make that Chaos play. TT be damned. And we're going ahead and banish that Blade Knight, and then we're all downhill with the GK Spy and the Thunder Dragon. This could have been it. I don't think he knows this Ring of Destruction, but he's testing it for a couple of things, and he's probably confident it's not Trap Dust Shoot. He's probably confident that it's not a Torrential Tribute, or he's probably confident that it's not Mirror Force at this point, and he's probably thinking it's maybe a Dust Tornado or something like that. So he's like, you know what? Show your moves. We're going downhill, and I'm going to go ahead and send it, and you need to figure out a way to stop this thing. As LaBounty go ahead and gets into the Solemn Judgment. We're going to go ahead and reinforcements here. And I know a lot of players in this position, they might take something like an Exile Force here, or they'll go after something along those lines, just go Exile pre-Exile, and that still kind of could be a play that a normal duelist would make, a regular person like myself would make. But instead of doing that, we're going to go ahead and go for the Dons of Luke, just to try to chip away at the GK Spy. You remove the GK Spy, and then you're going to be able to take a card from your opponent's hand, just trying to play a little bit of card advantage grind game as well. But we're going to go take out the Don, premature the Breaker, the Magical Warrior. So you're playing a little bit of board position, clearing the Thunder Dragon, you're clearing the GK Spy, and you still have your waiting looming Ring of Destruction that can pop this Chaos Sorcerer. And we're going to do just that, as you rip one from the hand and then ring the Chaos Sorcerer. And just like that, with that, the way that play kind of worked out, it kind of puts you back to the driver's seat. You're kind of up in cards right now, because you are playing off the draw. And now you have a very established Don. You have the super strong Solemn Judgment that is set up onto the field. Your opponent, Aalvarado, draws into the Heavy Storm. We're going to go ahead and use that Heavy Storm here. I guess you feel that your life points are already kind of low anyway, so you might as well just feign that this card is something good. Main deck Zumbira is crazy. Main deck Kaiku is crazy. But you know what? I guess you're going to have to rock with it, as you're going to go ahead and set up the Knight Assailant onto the field. And then you're going to go ahead and continue to bear down with the Dons of Luke. I think you actually still have a little bit of information from your Trap Dust Shoot that you played earlier. I have to go back and look at it again. So I haven't looked at this replay. I believe this match was actually streamed, but sometimes late in the streams, you know what I'm saying, we'll be off task and I'm not paying attention. But I'll have to go back and look at it. I think he still had some information from that Trap Dust Shoot that he played earlier as well. So that's could be why he kind of played the moves that he did. As we're going to set really strong Call of the Haunted there, but even stronger, Breaker the Magical Warrior is going to come down. We're going to go ahead and snipe that new set, and then we're going to get up out of there. So I think Aalvarado played it very well. I think LaBounty played it very well too. But sometimes at this level, as I stated before, the cards are just going to have to flow. And you're going to have to put them things together as well as you possibly can and try to just grind whatever, any type of advantage that you can take. You have to try and take it at this point, at this current juncture. But I think both of those duels played outstanding. And Aalvarado is going to go ahead and take game number 1 with a super strong Breaker the Magical Warrior. Okay, moving on to game number 2. Side decks are in. And I do have those decks as well. I meant to showcase those before I started all this, and I don't want to re-record it. But I can go ahead and pull those deck lists up here as we're talking about side decking. So here are some typical things that these duels are going to side deck. I'll expect to see the Zombiras coming in. As you guys know, it's pretty standard at this point. LaBounty, I expect to see maybe the Zaborg, the Thunder Monarch coming in, and all those things like that. So it's pretty obvious what these choices are going to do. I just put these decks up here so you guys can see them. So moving on, we're going to go ahead and go first. We got that Minecon. It's going to be in. We got the we have the Solemn Judgment. We're going to set Jog, and then we're going to pass. Okay, cool. So we do have that Zumbira, and we're going to go ahead and set the GK Spy, set the Spell and Trap Regeki Break, and then go ahead and bring forth those Thunder Dragons. Pretty standard opening for the Turbo players, as we're going to go ahead and bring out reinforcements of the army. So a lot of times, I think this is a cool play. Whenever you have Knocked On, I think you just should take Knocked On. A lot of people like to be messing around with Knocked On or try to get cute with this Breaker and Knock and all that stuff. I think that a lot of these top Warrior players, I'm seeing that it's use their Don's Alug as just a straight up battering ram. We're trying to get some type of engagement. We're trying to get some type of interaction. We're trying to just get it moving. So it's Rotor for Dawn here. No need to exile force. You got this Knock. We bring out the Dawn, and then we bring out the Knock. I know there is some line of thought, especially in some of the more competitive echelons of play. When you have the Dawn's Alug, is it better to Knock summon, or is it better to summon then Knock? I know common sense should tell you, hey, you should always do this, always do that. You shouldn't get caught up in always and GOAT format, because things have a little bit of layers to them. Sometimes it's better to Knock and then summon, because of Solemn Judgment exists. And I don't think you have a Solemn Judgment to back it up in this case, so it wouldn't have mattered. But if you didn't, maybe you could, because if you do go Dawn here and then Knock and then they Solemn it, now you're walled up by the Dawn, and you kind of can be in a losing spot there. He had the Solemn, so it really didn't matter. That's something that you can also maybe take away. But he does it correct way for this type of position. He goes summon the Dawn, get the Knock to go off. We're going to banish all GK Spies, and that's just a downhill matchup for the Warrior player. They love to see those Spies get banished, and it feels a lot better for them, as we're going to go ahead and get in clean with the Dawn. Fortunately for the Aalvarado, it's going to be that Sinister Serpent, so nothing of value was lost. As we're going to get that Sinister Serpent back to hand, we're going to go in RB here, going after the Solemn. Strong snipe from the 2-time GFC champ, as we bring out the Zumbira the Dark to club over this Don's Alug. This is another point I want to stop at here, because a lot of players mess this one up as well, or a lot of players do this, is that when you're playing against Warriors, they see this Don, they got the clean snipe on the Solemn Judgment, and they holding this Snatch Steal. They'll just say, let me get that Don, let me get one from you. You got one from me, let me get one from you. I think Alvarado's kind of obviously, I think he's correct here in what he did, just trying to get that plus where you can force some type of interaction from this back row card. You can follow it with Snatch if you felt so inclined, or if you do Snatch it down and you do get a rip, the chances of them having a card that can just aggress over this Don, especially this Breaker. Look how buff this Breaker would be if you were to do something like that. Now this Breaker is going to kind of have to answer this damn Zumbira the Dark. So you're getting a clean plus, you're forcing your opponent to do something, you're putting the onus on them to make something happen. I think this is a really, really cool play that a lot of players would not do. I'm trying to tell you right now, I watch a lot of matches, and a lot of players are snatching this Don 100% of the time. They'll tribute for the Thunder Dragon, get it all ran over, and then you're kind of on your back foot already again, right? I think a play like this keeps Aalvarado at least standing up and fighting, instead of kind of relying on something else to happen. So I think that's really cool. We got the Call of the Haunted coming in from LaBounty, as you're going to go ahead and get into the Kaiku, the Ghost Destroyer. We bring out the Breaker, the Magical Warrior, who is free and clear to pop the Sakuretsu armor, and we're going ahead and set Call of the Haunted here just as the strong bluff. Maybe you can get Aalvarado off of his spot. Maybe you can force some type of sign of weakness. Maybe he won't launch this attack in here because you set a weakened Breaker in front of a stronger Zumbira, and maybe he wouldn't. Why would he do that? But Aalvarado doesn't take the bait and just goes headlong into the Breaker, the Magic Warrior, and it works out. But now it did work out. There could have been a long-term effect of that. You now have weakened the Zumbira enough for this Kaiku, the Ghost Destroyer, to come back over the top, but it's okay because you do have this set Mirror Force, which is going to be the answer to the Kaiko the Ghost Destroyer. So it's just a little bit of gamesmanship, a little bit of back and forth, man. This stuff has layers. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe I'm just coping out, but this stuff I like to nerd out about because there is some gamesmanship. These duelists don't know, we're looking at this replay in post, and they don't know what the other person has, but it seems like they're both playing with information 100% open, and there's been no dust shoots have gone off. There's been no information that's been given up to the other person, but they're playing as if they know exactly what is happening from the other side. And I think that is just really, really cool to see. All right, so we got Kaiko Ghost Destroyer that's out, and we're going to try to get into the Zanbara the Dark, and it worked. Aalvarado does not reveal the Mirror Force, electing to let that Kaiko clean up this weakened Zanbara the Dark. I think there's a couple reasons you do that. One, you already have your light monsters that are secured for your potential chaos play. Two, a 1700 Zanbara really is just going to be vulnerable continuing on. You have to continue to keep protecting this thing. And three, you're showing weakness. You're letting your opponent think that this card isn't what it is, as they got that attack through relatively freely. So I thought that was a heads up play. Again, 99% of the players, especially these newer players, these players on the ladder who are just coming in the GOAT format, who are just getting competitive, they're ripping that, myself included. I'm probably jamming that Mirror Force every single day and just rocking and rolling and probably losing because of it. But you know what? I think Aalvarado had a little bit of forethought and decided not to do that. As we're going to have the Sinister Serpent, we're going to go ahead and reveal the Delinquent Duo here. Delinquent Duo takes over the Mycon, takes over the Exile Force, and then we're going to go for the Snatch Steal. That's another reason you didn't want to jam that Mirror Force, because you have this Snatch, and if it goes through, you know what I'm saying, you can put that pressure onto your opponent. So we're going to go ahead and take over the Kaiko the Ghost Destroyer. Kaiko gets in clean for 18. We got Call of Haunted. Are you trying to preserve anything? You have nobody that's strong enough to thwart off this attack, and you're going to go ahead and let those two go through. Interesting. Another thing that the red corner player is doing here. A lot of players would easily just go after this breaker because of its attribute. It's a dark monster, and you're trying to clear that graveyard of light and dark resources. You're going to go after the Exile Force because there could be a Call of the Haunted, which there is. You know what I'm saying? There is a Call of the Haunted. There could be a Premature Burial, which exists in this deck. So maybe getting that Exile Force resource out of there is the priority over a Break of the Magic Ward, especially when there's no light monster already in there. And this Kaiko eventually is going to go to the graveyard anyway, who's going to represent that dark monster. So it's just a lot of things to think about as we got the Exile Force out of play. We'll tribute up the Kaiko the Ghost Destroyer just to play around any type of mystical space typhoon or anything like that, and then we'll bring out the Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke, who can battle into the Thunder Dragon, still hanging on tight to this Mirror Force, really showing weakness, really trying to throw off your opponent's read of what that thing could be, as we're going to go ahead and let that Thunder Dragon go on to the graveyard. So now Aalvarado makes another play that I think is super interesting. We're going to go ahead and set the Kaiko the Ghost Destroyer. You've been showing weakness this whole time. I think they might have a solid read on what this set is because you haven't flipped it, you haven't done anything with it. It's just been sitting there the whole time, so they have to have an idea that this thing is a serpent. But you put a new set down, so now the onus is going to be on LaBounty to try to get some type of engagement with this set card. And if they do elect to attack, maybe you can finally reveal this set Mirror Force that you have down below to protect your Kaiko the Ghost Destroyer. And then you also would play around a TT that you can still continue to have a summon that next turn as you're going to reveal the Mirror Force finally. But LaBounty does have that Call of the Haunted. We're going to bring back the Kaiko the Ghost Destroyer and switch it up, and then Kaiko will be able to kill Kaiko the Ghost Destroyer. So that was kind of a risky maneuver. It was a risky play. I thought it was a really heads up play. As I stated before, you just have to squeeze any type of advantage that you can out of these matchups, man. It's just really hard. As we're going to go ahead and bring out the Tribe pop the Kaiko, and then Tribe gets in clean for 16 in the blue corner's hitbox. And we're thinking on the attack, here, maybe that Sakuretsu armor could have been played, but electing to just think and just tank it this time instead of revealing Sakuretsu armor. Maybe you can get a better card, a Blade Knight off the top to plus over this Tribe Infected Virus. Your life points are pretty high. I don't hate it coming in from the SJC, FLC, GFC Clash champion in the blue corner. So we're going to go ahead and get into the Tribe Infected Virus again. Rip the Upstart Goblin, get some life back, draw into Zanbara. Can't really do anything with the Zanbara. He's going to be a good follow-up to another monster that LaBounty could come into, as we're going to continue to take these 16s. It's not hurting too bad. You're just hoping your deck can provide another 1800 or Blade Knight to clean up this Tribe Infected Virus with a clean plus before you have to reveal your Sakuretsu armor. The Sakuretsu armor can then take out the Zanbara the Dark. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of, man, I'm all right. I'm off it. I'm off it. So we're going to go ahead and go into the Chaos Sorcerer and continue to go downhill. The tribe has been getting in clean. Aalvarado has kind of had an idea to kind of check for some of these cards. They haven't been used. So we're just going to continue to swing in, as now you're going to go ahead and reveal the Sakuretsu armor after you have set your own tribe infecting virus. And then we'll bring out Zombire the Dark in the second main phase. All right, so now we have the Solemn Judgment coming in for LaBounty. As you set that thing up onto the field, we got the Zombire the Dark who's trying to lean into the set tribe infecting virus. It could have been, you know, it could have been a DD Warrior later or something like that, but LaBounty elects to protect this tribe. And we're going to go ahead and ring up here. And now we have a free and clear Magician of Faith that is now set up onto the field. So we're going to flip the tribe, smash into the Magician of Faith, get back the snatch steal. So this is looking great for Aalvarado. And he's like, man, I got to just get this snatch through. If the snatch goes off, I can get a win and I'm out of here. As you're going to go and reveal the snatch, and he passes it over. So this is another heads up play from the blue corner player. Sometimes, I mean, I'm sure there's a risk associated with this that I just can't think of right here off the top of my head, but I think this is a risk worth taking sometimes, because you have now secured your opponent's battle phase, which is important. Maybe they don't want to summon, maybe they want to show respect for a torrential tribute, right? So they're not going to bring another guy in. So now they have your snatch, they have game imminent anyway, they have to swing. When they swing, now you reveal your Dust Tornado in the battle phase, get your guy back, and now you don't have to worry about taking any damage, and you don't have to worry about losing. So if he maybe have the Chaos Sorcerer next to the Tribe Infecting Virus, perhaps, then you can worry about, you know, I don't know, maybe might make a different play there. But still, Chaos Sorcerer comes on in the second main phase. He only can banish, as checking in your graveyard, we have nothing that can really take out this thing because the damn Exile Force was banished. You know what I'm saying? So that's something it happened way earlier in the game, but Exile Force is removed from the game, and that Premature Burial won't be able to get it back. So you'll probably lose your Tribe Infecting Virus. So now LaBounty has something to think about as you're going to snap the Solemn Judgment here to banish to pop the Chaos Sorcerer, and then you'll reveal Swords of Revealing Light as going to be your follow-up as we change the Tribe Infecting Virus to defense position. Both duelists top Graceful Charity on the same turn, which is hilarious, and Aalvarado holds his, and LaBounty will follow suit holding his, as Swords of Revealing Light is going to gain another counter. What a strong card. Swords is great. Aalvarado go ahead and reveals his Graceful Charity, and we're going to pop the Dust Tornado, and we'll also send the Heavy Storm. We'll bring out Breaker. Breaker is going to go ahead and invoke the Torrential Tribute, and if you had a Chaos Monster as a follow-up, you're out of here, but you don't have it. You just have this Solemn Judgment as you're going to go and set it up. So now LaBounty go ahead and snaps the Pot of Greed, and he did that kind of hasty. He didn't wait for the opponent to respond, but fortunately for him, he had the Graceful Charity as well, so it really didn't ruin anything or mess up the game state at all. We're just going to go in Solemn Judgment the pot, pay half, and then we have the Graceful Charity that was held as well. So you get 3, now you have to send 2. So you send the Delinquent Duo, and this is tough, man. This is really tough. This is a tough send. What do you guys send? What do you out there in Goat World send at this point? Get into the comment section, and then I'll go ahead and reveal. Okay, we're going to go ahead and send the Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. I don't hate it. And you're going to set the Magician of Faith because this is the last turn on Sword. The Magician of Faith does have a lot of cool cards you can grab from this graveyard. So I think that might have been the correct play to do. Your life points are super vulnerable and low as you're going to go ahead and reveal the Upstart Goblin. But Aalvarado has to have an idea that is something super juicy, because you sent off this Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, which was a really, really strong card in that position. So it's got to be something I respected. So we're going to go into the standby phase, knowing your opponent. I spoke about that earlier as well. He understands that LaBounty does play the Magician of Faith in the main deck, in the side deck, and he kept it. So it had to be something that's super critical. Maybe it's a GK Spy. Maybe it's something like that. So we're going to go ahead and take no chances, go into the standby phase, and blast off this Regeki break. And your life points are open. If you had one of those Blade Knights, if you had a Kaiku, if you had an Indragram, if you had somebody, you could just summon it, attack in, and win. But you have to roll those dice sometimes, and you have to take the good with the bad, and you run the numbers. And it just did everything that it just clearly worked out. And since you played that damn Upstart Goblin, which got you the cards you needed, but you just gave your opponent just enough life points in order to go ahead and call up premature the Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, and then get in there for the dub, man. So wow. A lot of cool plays in that game, a lot of cool plays in that match. So maybe I'm missing stuff. So get into the comment section, tell me where the throws were, tell me if someone's misplaying or something that you think that I'm missing out too, because again, these guys are both better than probably a lot of people that play this game, to include myself. So maybe I'm missing some things too, as Aalvarado is going to get to go first this time, as we're going to go ahead and make another interesting play to start this thing off right away. We're going to start this thing off making a really interesting play. So this hand wasn't great. Obviously, it's not a great turbo hand to start off with. You want to see that pot, you want to see that charity, you want to see just inching stuff to get this thing moving. But you started kind of bricked up, and instead of making, you know, the worst of it and just kind of putting Saku down and getting broken or something like that, you're just going to try to make a play like this to invoke your opponent to do something to you. You got this tribe down. Your opponent is actually holding Minecon too. So let's see if it works out. It's a risky play. It's obviously a gambit, but sometimes you gotta risk it for the biscuit, man, or it won't work out for you. So your opponent gets to the Blade Knight. I think it's a solid play, man, especially if you got some way to protect it. Breaker here would have just been a freaking devastating blow, but it's just one card. You just have to make it happen. So we bring out the Blade Knight. Blade Knight goes into the Tribe Infecting Virus. We're going to rip the Sakuretsu armor here. So now, since you protected this set with the Blade Knight, it only lets people believe that, hey, maybe this is the Koichi, maybe this is something like that. So I'm going for the Minecon, says LaBounty, and you are bamboozled because it is in fact Tribe Infecting Virus. You could have discarded to destroy it, but that would just been a neg after all. You just take your L, pass that thing back across the table, and move on. But you do have the Trap Dust Shoot, so you send back to Tsukiyomi, and now you know that your opponent has access to Chaos Sorcerer, which is dead, MST, Sakuretsu armor, and a Snatch Steel. It's information that LaBounty now has to operate with. We'll continue on with the Tribe Infecting Virus. We'll ring that bad boy up. Each duelist takes 16, as you'll set the MST kicking on over. You draw into the Black Luster Soldier, which is going nowhere fast, and then you pass it back on over to Aalvarado. Aalvarado got his own Ring of Destruction, and he's not even gonna set it on the field. No need, you know what I'm saying? You're not feeling pressured by anything. This Dust Tornado has been down for a while. You don't know what that card is. It could be anything. Could be a patent pending Zing Zin, who I think he understands that LaBounty does kind of play that card from time to time, and getting your stuff zinged right now is just not how you, it's not cash money, you know what I'm saying? So you don't want to do that. Even though you do have MST, you can just MST it, but I don't know. You're just kind of in this weird stalemate, as both of these duels have these two set hold cards that they're not doing anything with. As we're going to go ahead and continue to draw and pass, LaBounty holding on to the reinforcement of the army, electing not to just send a Don in there. I think that's very impressive. You know, showing a little bit of restraint, just waiting for your opponent to do something to you. There's like this weird Cold War type situation. They're not aggressing each other. As we draw into the Zaborg, so Zaborg represents your light monster, so you're going to go ahead and now go for the reinforcement army, bring out your dark monster, and then Don Zalug is just going to force something to happen. This card requires some type of response, or he's ripping something from hand, and that does suck sometimes when you have this Don Zalug and he's able to rip in clean. And you know what I'm saying, you have the defense in your hand, but you just didn't want to set it and get eviscerated by a pro set Heavy Storm or this Dust Tornado that's down there. And I thought it was another very interesting thing that he had this Dust Tornado and he just didn't play it. Like, he just said, you know what, that card's fake, that's bait, I'm just going to send this Don in and I want this card to be destroyed. He could have easily have used the Dust Tornado to pop this MST and then ensure that 14 gets in clean, but he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna send it, man. I'm gonna send it, and I'd rather keep my Dust Tornado for this impending Snatch Deal that could come my way, not knowing that was in fact a Mystical Space Typhoon from Alvarado's position. So we'll bring out we'll draw into the Thunder Dragon. We'll go ahead and use the Mystical Space Typhoon, and now we got a clean snatch on the Don Zalug. Don will be able to rip the Light Monster, which is great. Now your Chaos is not online, but as soon as you can figure out a way to pimp this Don into the graveyard, he's going to be back and better than ever, as you got two Thunder Dragons in hand. And then we'll go ahead and set and pass. So electing not to tribute up this Don Zalug, just hang on to him for a while, give your opponent 1,000 and see what happens if you force some type of engagement with this Don Zalug. We're going to rip, try to get another snatch or try to get another take in, as again, both duelists doing that, secure the battle phase, take back over the Don Zalug to your side of the field with the Regeki Break, heads up plays all around. We're just going to bring down the Exile Force to pop the Don Zalug here, and then vibe. So the Exile Force pops the Don Zalug. Your Light and Dark are now set up. You have the BLS in hand. You're in main phase 2. Man, you could just put it on the field if you wanted to, but that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy talk. But I do remember this from the stream, and that Delinquent Duo was just right on time, man. Delinquent Duo comes right on time, and he's going to be able to snatch that damn BLS out of hand, and LaBounty says, Christ, dude. dude. Feel sad about it. Hate to see it, as you're going to go ahead and take over the Blackluster Soldier into the GOAT format duel and graveyard. Hate to see it. Hate to see it. Hate to see it. So Aalvarado has to be feeling good. You're in a pretty commanding spot. LaBounty's off the top deck, and we're going to go ahead and set one. So bringing in the Kinetic Soldier in the damn turbo matchup is very interesting stuff, man. I've been seeing players doing it, and it can work because they're all playing that damn Zombie to Dark, and they're using that dude as a straight up battering ram. And you go into a Kinetic Soldier too many times, you will lose this damn duel. So that is something that maybe you can incorporate into your game. Why not? Everyone's quick to say, oh, that's so ass, it's so bad, you shouldn't do it, you shouldn't do it, you shouldn't do it. Well, look at what these players are doing, and you should. I'm telling you right now, you should try to duplicate some of the things that they're doing in their game, because the shit is clearly working. So we're going to go ahead and set the Kinetic Soldier, draw into Graves for Charity, hold Graves for Charity again. Aalvarado is kind of bricked up, man. You got these two Chaos Swords, but you just don't have the Dark Fuel to get those things to make something happen with these bad boys. But it's still, you know what I'm saying, it's still a super good card. You got to play it, man. But maybe, I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know. Hate to see it. As we're bricked up on the Chaos Source, we got the Mirror Force in hand. Trying not to lose to a Heavy Storm, not trying to put too much onto the field. As we got the Call of Haunted, now we got the Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, which is super strong. As we're trying to battle in with 1800. 1800 is going to meet the Ring of Destruction. Both duelists taking 18. Alvarado sitting at 22. And now we got another pretty robust Breaker the Magical Warrior. These breakers have been looking super duper strong in this matchup. Not going to lie. But will Alvarado take the chance? I mean, this is a risk. This is a risky biscuit right here, because you could, in theory, you could take this breaker, blast into this set, and then pop. But there's really no reason to do that, because typically, a lot of times, their setting is going to be Dawn. Granted, Dawn's already in the graveyard, and they don't play multiple Dawns. The set's going to be DD Warrior Lady. The set's going to be Mystic Storm level 2. Sometimes they put Mystic Storm level 2 onto the field in defense position. It could be a couple things. There's really no need to lose to a Sakura Armor that could potentially be in the deck. So we're going to go ahead and make the right heads up play, and we're going to go ahead and pop the Call of Haunted, and then we're going to not attack, because if it is GK Spy, which LaBounty is known to play that card as well, you have to flip it, and then you're going to have to grind it out. So we're going to go ahead and not attack into the set. And then we're going to go ahead and set the Magician of Faith, pass it back on over to Aalvarado, who attacks into the Magician of Faith this time, as we're going to be able to grab back the Graceful Charity. So Magician of Faith in this Warrior deck, people hated it, man. People still do hate it, but I think it's super strong, as you're going to go ahead and secure your Dark Monster by tributing for the Thunder Dragon. So now you have your Chaos online. We're going to Graceful Charity up. Graceful Charity up, we're going to kick the Mystic Storm level 2, kick the reinforcement of the army. So I'm sure when Alvarado saw this reinforcement go to the bin, he's probably like, man, oh man, what's he got in there? He's probably got some really, really juicy cards, because reinforcement is a card that a lot of these Warrior players hold in high regard and like to hang on to that thing. But granted, I guess most of your targets are kind of, you know, dwindling, as Exile Force, Dawn's a Luke, Ninja Grandmaster are kind of the three that you want to get to toolbox, but Blade Knight still remains in the deck, etc., etc. And so maybe it's not that great of a card. You're going to go ahead and set the Solemn Judgment, set the DD Warrior Lady, kick it back on over to Alvarado, who now Alvarado makes another Gambit here. We're going full Gambit style, as we special summon the Chaos Sorcerer in attack position. Got Dose Tornado, Chaos Sorcerer number 2 in hand. So we're going 1 Light, 1 Dark, bring out Chaos Sorcerer. And now, from this position, you're going to go ahead and TT. Chaos Sorcerer, use your own TT, which is interesting. So this play, this is a high level play. I don't think I could have made a play like this. I take it slow. I'm too aggressive, but I'm also too passive. I'm never in between. And I think that was a super aggressive play, because this could put your opponent in a compromised position if this Chaos Sorcerer can stick and swing true. You already kind of believe that this set might not be able to, I don't know what information you have about this set, but it didn't stop the Torrential Tribute. It didn't stop that summon. Maybe you thought it was solemn, you're just trying to get it to be pulled out. I'm not sure what the thought process was for Alvarado. Maybe we can get him to come by and talk about that, or maybe he can get into the comment section and speak on this play in particular, because that was a very, very aggressive play. Aggressive, at least from my opinion. I don't know if it was right. I don't know if it's wrong. That's not for me to say. He made it. It must have been the correct play to do. But I would just like to hear from him on why that play went down that way, because that was a lot. I think you could have just slowed it down a little bit. You had some cards. You had this Dust Tornado. Maybe you could have set that and maybe did all that the next turn. I don't freaking know. I don't know, but I'm sure he had a read, he had a feel, and I'd just be interested to hear what that was. Maybe he'll get into the comment section, let us know. As we bring out Chaos Sorcerer number 2, And LaBounty will go ahead and reveal the Solemn Judgment here, which will bring you all the way down to 2,100. We'll set the Dust Tornado, and he did have it, and he did hold it, and it did work out for the Clash of Champions winner. And now you get to the Pot of Greed off the top, which is just a backbreaker, as Pot is going to go for Jar and Premature Burial. We'll go ahead and see what we do here. As we go ahead and reveal the Premature Burial, you do have that Dust Tornado, which is the clean answer, as we'll go ahead and not even take a chance with it. Just get rid of that Zaborg, the Thunder Monarch right away, and then we'll pass. I think you had to do that. You couldn't play any battle phase tricks on that one, because he could have been bamboozling you the whole time. Bring back the Zaborg. Think Zaborg's game shot. You try to secure the battle phase with the Dust Tornado, and he tributes from Mobius on you, and you're just looking sick. So I think that was correct play to go ahead and get rid of that damn Premature Burial with the Dust Tornado before you even try to get cute and get blown away. So we're going to go ahead and bring out the damn Gravekeeper Spy and just try to pressure up, man. You got 100 life points. If this was the Koichi, you win. You know, that's the game. I mean, that's the game. That's what we're talking about. When we talk about luck in Yu-Gi-Oh!, that's the game. If this card had been Dekoichi, which could very well also not be in the deck, let's be real. If this card is Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, if this card is, you know, Dekoichi or whatever other guy, Breaker or for whatever, you win, you know? But it's not. It's GK Spy, so you leave him at 100, and that's just the game. That is the game. I love it. I love the gambling aspect of it. I love the luck aspect of it, but that is just how it goes. As speaking of, we're going to go ahead and hit the Jar of Greed, and you're going to get into one of the most robust and vigorous Breaker of the Magic Warriors probably ever. Probably since the last time. I think he won Clash of Champions with a ridiculous, or he won a GFC, or he won some tournament with the most ridiculous Breaker, and now he's got an even more ridiculous Breaker coming down, as Breaker is going to be able to pop the super strong Mirror Force and clean up the attack position GK Spy, and you have a Solemn Judgment backing this thing up, and it is just looking pretty cooked for the 2-time. As we're going to go ahead and upstart Goblin up, give him back to 1,000, set the Solemn Judgment, pass, as now Breaker is going to get on in clean for another 1,600. So now Alvarado's back against the wall. You got 200 left, and now you have the damn Dekoichi. Oh, that's got to be a tilt. I tilt, man. If this guy came up earlier, you win. But since he wants to trade positions, you know what I'm saying? That's just how it goes. As you're going to set the Dekoichi, as you guys can see, the writing is on the wall. And we're going to go and reveal Noble Cross out, get into a quick solemn exchange. And LaBounty is going to defeat his foe, Aalvarado. And every time these duels play, man, every single time these duels play, it's always fireworks, man. They always playing at the highest possible level. And I think it is super great for the game that we have two of these legendary duelists still playing at their peak performance. But wow, what a match. I had to showcase that to you guys as LaBounty moves on. And Aalvarado does fall in the Clash of Champions. So if you guys like this series, if you guys like Match of the Week, make sure you get into the comment section, let me know, and we'll continue to do the Match of the Week series. Is really fun. But duelists, that's all I have. As always, I'm JDZ. I play Ghosts. Until the next time, shout out to all the real ones. Salute to the OGs. Peace.